Morning, everybody, and here we are at a little bit of a news flash. I'm here with Jeremy Tapp of Homeflow. How are you, sir?
Not bad, thank you, Simon. How are you?
You're looking smart, quietly. I was going to say smug, but that's probably a bit rude. Just content, I think, is how you're looking there. Been a busy week for you, I'm guessing, Jeremy. The new Homeflow have acquired Area, the lead management solution.
Yeah, it's been a busy month or two, actually. Yeah, it's been taking a while. It's been hard work.
These things do take time, don't they? Having a little bit of knowledge in that area. Although famously not being a detail person, I try to stay out of it as long as possible. So for people that don't know, Jeremy, first of all, obviously you guys have been doing websites for years now. Some of the very biggest and best companies, including the likes of Countrywide, Connells, all across the board, haven't you? Area, on the other hand, was created as a lead management solution for agents, dealing with that very common problem of agents actually, quite often aren't short of leads, but they are absolutely paralyzed by their ability to prioritize the right ones, the good ones, and how to deal with the sheer volume of those. So given that's said, I mean, there's an obvious crossover here. What was it that attracted you to the Area solution itself enough to obviously want to do the deal?
Well, we have been in the lead response space for probably 8 years with Boomerang. In fact, I think we were the first people to introduce lead response as a concept, and it very quickly got copied by a few people.
Was that the likes of Boomerang, was it? Because you had the Boomerang solution, things like that, haven't you?
Boomerang was the first product that I know of that took in your Rightmove inquiries, your on the market inquiries, or at the time it was Rightmove and Zoopla inquiries coming in, and it gobbled them up, parsed them, and then put them into a structured system. And we have little flags on the back end for have you contacted that person or not, and what have you. We aggregated them with your web leads, and we sent email responses. We still do, actually. We've got lots of 130 odd customers use that, but those email responses, the difference with Boomerang is they're deep links. So it will find you inquired about this property. Here are some other properties that are similar in the same area. And those links were straight to those properties on the agent's website. So it was about trying to get people from portal inquiry stage through into engagement with the agent on their own website. And we also put staff photos in and branch photos and what have you. So we've been interested in this forever. And I think in answer to your question, we therefore watched the development of Area. And Area was one of the earliest innovators, and I think it's probably the one that did the most interesting. It was the most enterprise. I mean, I've looked at lots of them. It was the one that went the highest and did. We, in our view, it was the one that did the most comprehensive kind of business process system, sort of for supporting and making sure that your staff call every single lead, call them really quickly. It's kind of like, I remember I visited the Foxtons call center a long, long time ago, like 10, 12 years ago. And I've been obsessed and fascinated by that since, and spoken to lots of people about it and what have you. And just the machinery that they had assembled around making sure that every single customer was responded to in minutes, if not seconds, and with kind of an informed kind of process about what property they were trying to acquire, but did they need finance help? And you just went through this really structured flowchart process. It felt very natural to the customer. So it's that, and that's what these businesses are doing. And Area, I think, was the sort of winner in class. So that was why we were interested.
Because every statistic, every study, everyone's experience will be the speed of response is absolutely critical, isn't it? In terms of, when you respond famously within 5 minutes or 10 minutes compared to responding within an hour or half a day, it's literally a multiplier effect, isn't it? In terms of how much more likely you are to get the business.
Yes, it is. I mean, there's a few different things going on. I mean, it's a very different product in sales than it is in lettings. So in lettings, it's what you said. It's about shielding the and prioritizing the inquiries. So a lot of demand from customers is, can we put the barriers up almost? Can we make people climb over higher hurdles? Can we make people pre-qualify themselves and tell us a whole lot of information, their inside leg measurement, in order that we have lots of data on them and we get the serious applicants through? In the sales business, obviously, and particularly in a tough market, it's not about really handling the volume so much, although for bigger agencies after a weekend it can be. But for a smaller agency, it's much more about making sure that we respond thoroughly. We do it because no matter what a manager tells you, and I've done this so many times with different people, where they sort of look at leads and go back and reprocess them. Leads are left on the floor. It's just because they're busy, or something else happened, or it was the office party, or they had or there was a priority sale going through. Leads do slip through cracks, and what this thing does is shines a spotlight on that, makes sure that absolutely nothing does. And also there's an automation process going on in the background, having a conversation with them as well. It's not meant to replace the human. It's meant to underline the human and sort of make sure that we ask all these questions of the person, and then the salesperson is freed up to do their job more efficiently and what have you. So make sure nothing falls through the cracks, as well as speed of response that you're talking about. And speed of response is critical. You're absolutely right. I mean, partly because people are in the mindset. Like I'm looking to change my car at the moment, and the guy getting through to me, 3 or 4 different garages I'm talking to. The guy getting through to me, if they call straight back, you're still in that mode. You're still sort of in. Right, I'm on my to-do list. I'm on car at the moment, and if you ring them and you miss the call, and they call back 30 seconds later, and you speak to them, you're like, I'm still thinking about the car. Brilliant, good time to talk to me about it. That was on my mind, and so you can just get much deeper into that transaction if you get them in that mind space.
And look, Jeremy, we're talking about best practice kind of there, talking about just a few minutes. There, again, whether it's EA Masters when they used to do the mystery shopping and show that the vast majority of leads actually weren't getting dealt with on the same day, and some never at all. I mean, that's the reality of the situation as well out there, and that's a really poor experience, obviously, for the clients anyway, per se. And having looked at Area and seen the product demos, it really just doesn't allow that to happen as long as you use that tool effectively, does it? That concept of unanswered leads just isn't really possible.
Yeah, never miss anything. Always ask all the qualifying questions about have you got a house to sell, do you need finance help, and a whole bunch of other softer surrounding questions too, and get back to people quickly and professionally. And make sure you get back to them 2 days later and 4 days later, and you have recall schedules and what have you. It does all that kind of stuff. I mean, Simon, you know the product. I don't want to turn the question around on you. Tell me what you think of the business. What's
I think it's absolutely invaluable. I mean, in terms of I have made myself very unpopular with marketing directors at estate agents over the years, because I've made the point of, before you start looking at other marketing solutions, trying to add stuff into the top of the funnel, deal with the leaky bucket that you've got in place anyway. And until you're confident you are dealing with all of those, then there's no point spending, and wasting extra money there, really. There's just no doubt about it that you've got to get that bit right, because there's that horrible phrase, which I understand, but agents term them tire kickers. Well, there's no more certain way of guaranteeing that someone is going to be a tire kicker, aka cold lead, if you aren't dealing with them in an effective manner. So that the thing for me is, and everything has to be so easy to do, don't they? Or ultimately your staff won't do that. And that was what I thought the genius of Area was, that it enabled people to be able to do that. And look, there's no surprise here, is it? If you go to, I think, is it Use Area? Just put Area Estate Agency into your web browser there. Look at the clients that Area has on board, and it's really a who's who of best practice and the best agents out there, isn't it?
It is actually. You said what was interesting to us about the business, and we started talking about the product. The other thing that was interesting is when we were referencing the customers. I mean, they love the product, and that's great. I mean, it's just like there's something about using the software which is really, really nice and clean and easy. And modern software, when it's designed beautifully and it has very simple everything you need on one screen, to go to multiple screens and what have you, and it's just sort of like, and it works on mobile, it works on desktop. It's just clean and it's simple, and there's nice photos of the people you're talking to and what have you. So it's just like it's just when you use it, you just go, "Whew, that's okay. That was easy." And the guys have worked very, very hard. I mean, it's built inside an agency group, as you know. So
I was just about to say, I mean, one of those. I've labelled them PropTech 3.0. Kind of agents doing it for themselves. I think there's a wonderful angle here. Is that that horrible kind of techie phrase, the MVP, the minimum viable product, you tend to almost, well, maybe not sidestep completely, but certainly short circuit that when these things are created at the coalface of an actual agency. And Keaton's being an absolutely, fantastic agency out there, it was no surprise, obviously, that it was such a solid product out of the, kind of out of the stables from day one, was it? And I think the second thing as well, Jeremy, is I'm right in thinking he's got some quite tight CRM integrations as well, hasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So when you get to the end of that process, it exists in a very narrow gap between the website business finishing and the CRM business starting. It's not trying to be a CRM and it's not trying to be a website. It's just a lead response and management and automation system and marketing system in that narrow gap. And once you've qualified the business, worked out what it's interested in, it injects into Repeat Foundations, injects into MRI. I think it injects into a couple of the other CRMs as well. So you're right. Yeah, it is. I think they were the first Foundation's partner with Reapit to go live. Well, at least they tell me that. We thought we were with the Street View app, but frankly, they're both very, very early. Foundation.
They're telling everyone, you're the first. You're the first.
No, I mean they were definitely. Well, I do remember their name because that was one of the places that I was first. Oh, that's they're making more progress. We knew about them because we were integrated with them from lots of our website clients. I mean, you're right though. The type of client that use them is the sort of the driven, winning, haunted, striving agent that wants it wants it all, but they want it to be better. They just want to make sure that they're giving that right. They're just losing nothing and maximizing everything and really going for it. And those agency groups tend to be the same ones that use Homeflow. They tend to be the same ones that use the bigger, more expensive software CRM systems. And so there is congruence between our customer base. You're right. And so we just love the way the customers sort of adored using the product.
Well, that's great. I mean, obviously, so you've got access to the full Reapit client base as well. They're obviously full of those type of agents, aren't they? So that would be absolutely top of the list. And I think what I love about solutions like this, as you said, when they are looking at quite a narrow area but specialising there, that's ordinarily the bit that the CRMs don't pay too much attention to. They've kind of got a fairly basic capability in that area, but the companies like Area have gone that extra degree and specialised, and that's where you get some quite big results, isn't it? Which of course is what the clients that are on board are saying on the website day in, day out.
Yeah, well, that is, of course, the whole point of that strategy. The whole point of an app marketplace strategy is, at the perimeter, there's always going to be someone who builds a better matching and mailing system than you, or reporting suite than you. So if you can either say, I'm operating a walled garden and I'm just going to have to try and be a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 on everything, or you can say I'm opening up the keys to the treasure trove because Area is going to do a better pre-CRM job, and some reporting suite, I don't know, business objects or whatever, is going to do a better job on reporting suite, and someone else on tenant referencing, so we'll plug them in there, and somebody else on repairs and maintenance monitoring, so we'll plug them in. So you can plug in the best of breed, because businesses that focus on those smaller pieces, they naturally get very good at those smaller pieces, and so that's the way the modern web is going. Yeah, and
there's no argument, is there? That's just added such a different spin and has liberated a whole new area of innovation, which I think is fantastic. What does it mean for the wider kind of group now, though, Jeremy? Is there going to? I mean, obviously, there will be attractions to you in terms of, I guess, how you can bring the two product lines, or more, two or more product lines together. How do you see Area working with what you do, on the everyday business with your websites and things like that?
That's quite a big question. So, I mean, you're right to call it a group, because we are trying to do more of these things. First of all, we're interested in prop tech businesses that think they work well alongside of a website. By the same extension, we're trying to work with things that work well alongside us as an extension, and we're interested in more acquisitions like it. However, to answer your question about what could we do with Homeflow, I mean, I think at the moment, if you think about that experience, it leaves the website, it goes off to email. At the moment, all of those lead management systems, they take an email in from Rightmove or an email in from a website, and then they send out surveys and follow-up questions and trigger phone calls and do all sorts of tricks off the back of an email. Whereas if you're a website provider like us, we can do it straight off the back of a website. You've got the customers there and then on the website, and a good 30% of the inquiries are coming through on the agent's own website when you look at the stack of Rightmove and the other portals and the website. And we're going to work a lot in that joint to make the experience for a customer really quite fluid and smooth in the conversation that we're having with them.
Because it's been really disjointed to date, hasn't it? I mean, I've always spoken about the kind of holy trinity of kind of prop tech. The foundations of an agent's tech stack should be a CRM system working hand in glove with the website, working hand in glove with an email nurturing system. And if you can get those ones ready and working together, you have got a strategic advantage over those agents that don't have that in place, don't you?
You do. And actually, I want to go back to something you said earlier, Simon, which is about, you say fix the leaky bucket. Another way of thinking about that is, because I completely agree, if you can get your website and your CRM and your email marketing or whatever, if you can get your basics to be 10% better, or your conversion rate. Frankly, you can do it just with your website. If you can get your conversion rate on your website to be 10% better, but if you can also get your lead conversion where you handle leads and don't drop leads by implication, and indeed all the way down the process. So the deeper you go down the process about getting your human process to work and getting to the fee and making sure that every offer has maximum chance of getting to, all of your marketing that happens above that is leveraged. So anything you're spending on your pay-per-click, anything you're spending and investing in your SEO, all your efforts on social media, all your efforts putting all the boards up, if you're still doing newspaper advertising, everything that's upstream ramming stuff in the top of the funnel becomes 10% better return on investment if you fix the root at the bottom of that funnel. And so it's almost like the deeper you go down the funnel, if you put investment in the ROI at the bottom and make the machine work better, then magically all of your marketing stuff, which costs a lot, and you have marketing teams and people worrying about writing content, what have you, all of that starts to work better. So I suppose it's just such a simple truism. It's investing in your foundation and making sure that your base is really strong so that everything you do on top of it grows faster.
Yeah, and you've always been really passionate about that, haven't you? In terms of, and it stands to reason, doesn't it? If you do have all of these, the contacts, the prospects visiting your business in different silos, some hidden in your email marketing database. You've got obviously a huge number in your CRM database as well. But then there's been a disjoint today, hasn't there, with all these, this huge number that have been hitting the website itself, and never the twain will meet has been the case. But that's always been one of your passions, hasn't it? Is to kind of break down those barriers, and obviously from that can get increased referrals and everything else that's good that's out there.
100%. Yeah, that's right.
Good. Well, short and sharp, but that's absolutely it. Okay, Jeremy. So what's your plan? Is there a 100-day plan? What are you doing? Getting out to meet the existing?
We ambitiously set out to build a 90-day plan, I'm sort of looking up at it.
Is that a 90-day plan? Is that just so you like sort of almost 10% better than the 100-day plan?
No, it's because someone else told me they had a 90-day plan, and I thought, well, we should have a 90-day plan. It is the received wisdom, isn't it? You make yourself a plan, and we're executing against it this week with all the sort of the announcement and press, and we're integrating the text. I mean, the beautiful thing is it's built in Rails, Ruby on Rails, which is the language that we use, and so that's a very, very lucky happenstance. That doesn't, it's a fast prototype.
That aligns with what you do already within the group.
Yeah, same. So all of the developers are writing in the same code, the same language, and what have you. And that's not, with modern day APIs and systems, that doesn't need to be the case. But it just means that we can rotate team members, and we can have sharing of ideas, and that people, when they look at our code for how something works, they're going to be able to understand it. When we look at their code, as the teams come together, it's built on, and it's built with architecturally. They've modeled I don't want to get too techy anytime, but they've modeled the data structures and the data models. What is a lead? What is a contact? What is a person? What is the team and a branch and what have you, in an identical fashion. It's uncanny. I mean, it's not really uncanny, because if you think about the problem carefully, that's the answer you get to. But they've done a great job of it in a great language. But you were asking about the 90-day plan. And there's a plan where we're going to help with our support team, our sales team, our finance team, can help take some of the load off of their teams. Because really the people doing those functions with inside of area, their real specialism is development engineering and product innovation and product design. I mean, that's what the heart of that business is really, really good at.
They don't want to be dirtying themselves with the grubby world of sales. There's people out there that are good at that. And I think that's an important point, though, isn't it? Sometimes these, agents can sometimes get a little bit sort of overwhelmed with all this M&A activity out there. And sometimes those deals are purely done, it seems to be, to kind of just take the basics, buy the turnover. But in this case, this is the whole lock, stock and barrel, isn't it? This is really about fitting in and blending in the people into the business as much as anything else.
Yeah, it's something that we have already done. It's just they have been focused on it, and they've done it. They've done it with panache, and they've done it faster, and they've done much more of it, and they're at the high end of it. They've done it in the same language as us, and they've done it in the same data structures as us. So you're right that it's not just a buy revenue, buy customers, and build a group, albeit those are all advantages too. It's much more about this fits. We were busy building products called Boomerang 2.0, which is all our survey capability, what have you. But this the more we explored it and the more we tried to understand it, the more we realized that this thing was just a win.
Just one of those very natural deals that as you get to it, just becomes, they say famously, a no-brainer. Well, look, I'm never going to shoot down anyone for adding a bit of panache into the business. So no, congratulations. I mean, it's a really good deal to get to that. I can understand straight off the bat how it's going to fit hand in glove with what you do, and I'd love obviously either after that 90 days or throughout that 90 days. See, there you go, the pink panache, even better. Yeah,
Just trying to
I
knock
mean,
it aside. Thank you. That's really kind of you.
you're gonna keep us up to date though, yeah, with what's happening and what it can bring, because I think I'm really interested to understand, the benefits that this does bring, because obviously we're moving into a very different market at the moment, but there's still that requirement to be, to have efficiencies, to be able to outperform your competitors without having to have the level of headcount. Of course, is one of the promises that technology often almost allures to, but quite often doesn't deliver. But that's definitely something that area can do in spades for agents.
Well, it definitely makes the team more efficient. As in, it's going to help you prioritize which leads you do call where you are busy. It's going to help ask a whole load of questions that you would almost normally have to ask, and yet not get in the way of you asking those yourself. Because you could sort of say, "Oh, I noticed that you said X, Y, and Z. Is that right? Are you ready to move?" So it doesn't. One of the the objections you get is, "Well, I want to ask those questions in person," and of course you do. That doesn't stop you having that conversation and commenting on it and getting into the discussion. It's just like clearing up all the basics of if you've got pets and are you a smoker, and are you ready to move, and what's the situation with your current house. It gets some of the basics on deck for you to, and it gives you more to talk about the lead. So it makes their job slightly more efficient. So if you're trying to achieve with 6 people what you used to achieve with 8 people, this thing's going to definitely help. That said, I don't really think that's its main benefit. I think its main benefit is making sure that you're squeezing more value out of the lead stream, the lead flow that comes through.
And able to measure it as well, isn't it? That's a critical element of, in terms of the more and more these days, people need to be able to show ROI. And if you can't show ROI on your leads, then you're missing a massive trick, aren't you? I mean, that's crucially got to be one of the main things you've got to look for in the business.
Yes.
Excellent.
It makes us a double kerfuffle customer as well.
Double anything for me, double cheeseburger, double kerfuffle. You're always going to have my attention. Well, look, we want to learn and obviously get more and understand how these different bits fit into the group, I think, over the coming weeks and months. So until the next time with your wonderful kerfuffle hat, just obviously one more reach out. Obviously, you can go to Area or Homeflow on kerfuffle.com if they want to reach out to you directly. Jeremy, where can they find you? Me or the business? You were the business. Best is just that they write to info@homeflow.co.uk. I am pretty widely available. If you actually want to reach me, you're welcome to put my name in it. But that way, there's a team here who can definitely help. Looking forward to exploring. One thing I would say we are looking for customers, both Homeflow customers and area customers, if they're watching, or frankly, third-party agencies, if they're just really interested in what we've been talking about here. We're looking for a very small group to help us thinking about that little area of innovation I was talking about. So we've got some stuff already. Like a focus group, a trailblazer group to really work on that. Well, if anyone's out there. Right. Yes, but what I mean by that is people who really understand exactly what we're talking about and fancy themselves as having got that thinking under their hats and have ideas of where they think it should be going. Those people we want to talk to because we're trying to take. But we've got some ideas. Let me do a bit of this. So no Muppets. Okay, so if you're a forward-thinking agent, you like the sound of that, reach out to Jeremy, and obviously I would certainly get on board this at the earliest possible stage, because I think there's one of these things, isn't there, Jeremy? The sooner you get to technology like this that can make a difference in your own marketplace, and you can leverage that opportunity cost, is a far better place to be in than just keeping up with the Joneses when everyone's got it. Yeah, exactly. And it's a tough market. That is exactly when the bold can make some progress, and it's easily said, but I mean it is also true. Good. Excellent. Well, have a fantastic day, good weekend, and I hope you can finally relax and get working on that 90-day plan. Thanks for inviting us, Simon. It's brilliant. Nice to see you again.